The Galactic Council chamber was full. Thousands of species watched from floating seats made of light and metal. This place had decided the fate of worlds for centuries. Today, the topic was simple. Humans. A tall, insect-like counselor spoke first. Let the record show, it said calmly, that humanity has arrived with no active war fleet. Soft laughter spread across the chamber. The human delegation stood quietly at the center platform. They wore plain uniforms. No weapons. No symbols of power. Only calm faces and steady eyes. A reptilian general leaned forward. "Is it true," he asked, "that your strongest warships are in museums?" The chamber exploded with laughter. Screens lit up across the hall. Images appeared of massive human ships, old, scarred, and silent. Some were surrounded by tourists. Children posed for pictures beside giant cannons. Plaques labeled them as historic artifacts. The laughter grew louder. "Those ships fought wars before most of you discovered space travel," the reptilian general mocked. "You keep them like toys." The human ambassador did not react. "Yes," she said simply, "they are relics." That word caused even more laughter. A floating being made of light pulsed brightly. "Relics do not fight invasions," it said, "and your border systems are already under attack." The laughter slowly faded. A new screen appeared. Red alerts flashed. Alien warships, sleek, modern, and countless, were moving toward human space. Their hulls shined with advanced shields. Their weapons could crack planets. The invaders had attacked dozens of worlds before. No one had stopped them. The council waited for panic. But the humans did not panic. Instead, the ambassador bowed her head slightly. "Then we request permission," she said, "to activate our museum fleet." Silence. Then laughter returned, louder than before. "You want to fight modern warships with antiques?" someone shouted. Another counselor shook its head. "This is beyond foolish." The ambassador did not raise her voice. "Those ships are not outdated," she said. "They were retired." "Because they are weak?" asked the insect counselor. "No," the human replied. "Because they were too effective." That answer caused confusion, not fear. The reptilian general waved his claw. "Permission denied. This council will observe your defeat." The human delegation nodded. "Understood," the ambassador said. "Then we will proceed without approval." The council laughed again. Far away on Earth, massive buildings began to open. Museum walls split apart. Underground doors that had not moved in centuries slid open. Dust fell as ancient systems powered on. Old ships, massive and dark, rose from their resting places. Their hulls were scarred, not broken. Their metal was thick, layered, and dull. No glowing shields. No flashy engines. Alien scanners locked onto them. Power readings are low. An alien commander reported from the invading fleet. Primitive designs. No threat. The invaders advanced. Inside one of the relic ships, lights flickered on. Systems awakened like sleeping giants. Human crews moved calmly, as if this moment had always been expected. A human officer looked at the main display. "They're still laughing," someone said. The captain nodded. "Let them." The relic ships did not rush forward. They did not fire. They simply moved into position, slow, heavy, silent. The invading fleet opened fire. Energy beams struck the first relic ship. Nothing happened. No explosion. No damage. The alien commander paused. "Increase firepower," he ordered. More weapons fired. Stronger beams. Missiles. Still nothing. Then, without warning, one relic ship activated a system the galaxy had never seen. Space itself twisted. Sensors screamed across the alien fleet. Signals vanished. Ships lost contact with each other. One alien cruiser disappeared. Not destroyed, not damaged, just gone. The laughter stopped. In the council chamber, alarms rang. "What just happened?" someone shouted. The human ambassador spoke softly. "That ship," she said, "was never meant to be used again." On the battlefield, the relic fleet moved. Slowly, calmly, and the invaders finally understood something terrible. They were not facing humanity's future. They were facing humanity's past. and it was waking up. The galaxy had seen many battles. Explosions, fire, screaming signals, broken ships drifting through space. But this battle was different. There was no sound. The alien fleet floated in tight formation, weapons charged, crews tense. Moments ago, one of their cruisers had vanished. Not destroyed, not damaged, just gone. No debris, no energy trace, no warning. Alien commanders checked their screens again and again. "This is not possible," one officer said. "Nothing disappears without leaving a mark." The human relic ships stayed still. They did not chase. They did not fire again. They waited. That waiting was worse than any attack. In the Galactic Council chamber, fear finally replaced laughter. The same counselors who had mocked humanity now leaned forward, eyes fixed on a live feed. "What weapon was that?" demanded the reptilian general. The human ambassador answered honestly. "We do not know its modern name," she said. "It was built before names mattered." The council fell silent. On the battlefield, the alien fleet changed tactics. Smaller ships moved forward, fast and aggressive. They spread out, trying to surround the relic fleet. "Scan their hulls." The alien commander ordered. "Find a weakness." Scanners passed over the human ships. The results made no sense. Their armor was thick but simple. No glowing shields. No advanced energy fields. Just heavy metal, layered again and again. "These designs are inefficient," an alien scientist said. "Why waste mass like this?" The answer came seconds later. A relic ship rotated slowly. A massive structure along its side opened. Not a cannon, not a launcher, but something older. Gravity bent. Space stretched. The small alien ships suddenly lost control. Their engines screamed as gravity pulled them inward, crushing them silently. Ships folded in on themselves like paper. No explosion, just collapse. The alien fleet pulled back in panic. "Retreat!" the commander shouted. All ships retreat. But retreat required coordination, and coordination was failing. Human relic ships activated more systems. Not weapons. Jammers. Ancient human signal breakers flooded the area. They did not block communication. They replaced it. Alien crews heard voices that were not there. Orders that contradicted each other. False warnings. Fake distress calls. Chaos spread. In the council chamber, a floating being whispered, "They are not fighting us." "What?" another asked. "They are unmaking us." The human ambassador closed her eyes briefly. "These ships were designed for wars where survival was uncertain," she said. "They were built when humans believed extinction was possible." On the battlefield, a massive alien battleship charged its main weapon, a beam capable of cracking continents. The human relic ships did not move. The alien captain smiled in relief. "Fire," he ordered. The beam struck a relic ship directly. For the first time, something happened. The relic ship absorbed the hit. Its hull glowed red. Metal warped. Then it stabilized. The human ship did not explode. Instead, it responded. A single pulse traveled outward, not fast, not bright, just steady. The battleship shields shut down instantly. Its engines died. Its weapons went dark. The ship floated helpless. The human fleet did not destroy it. They passed by. That terrified the aliens more than destruction. Inside the alien command ship, panic spread. "They could have killed us," an officer said. "Why didn't they?" The commander stared at the human ships on the screen. "Because this is a lesson," he whispered. In the council chamber, a junior counselor finally asked the question everyone feared. Why were these ships placed in museums? The human ambassador looked up. "Because," she said, "we decided never to use them again." "Why?" the counselor asked. "Because when we did," she replied, "there was no one left to surrender." The council chamber went silent. On the battlefield, the relic fleet transmitted a single message. No threat. No demand. Just 6 words. "Leave. Do not return." The invading fleet hesitated. They had never hesitated before. But now, Surrounded by silent ships from humanity's past, they understood something new. These were not relics of victory. They were relics of regret. And if the humans were forced to go further, there might be nothing left of the invaders to regret anything at all. The invading fleet did not leave. That decision would become the greatest mistake in their history. After the human warning echoed across space, "Leave. Do not return," the alien commanders argued. Pride fought fear. Arrogance fought survival. "They are bluffing," one commander said. "Those ships are few," said another. "We are many." The feared species had ruled the galaxy for centuries. They had never obeyed a warning, so they stayed. The human relic fleet did nothing. Hours passed. No attacks. No movement. Just silence. That silence began to crush the alien crews. Sensors showed the relic ships drifting slowly, never losing position, never closing distance. Always there. Always watching. Alien engineers worked non-stop. They tried new scans, new frequencies, new weapons calibrations. Nothing worked. Then ships at the edge of the fleet began to vanish, one at a time. No warning, no signal, no sound. A cruiser disappeared, then a supply ship, then a carrier. The fleet tightened formation in panic. "This is impossible," an alien scientist said. "They are not firing. They are not moving. How are they doing this?" The answer was simple. Humans had stopped thinking in straight lines long ago. Inside a relic ship, a human tactical officer watched the display. "Phase net is holding," he said calmly. The captain nodded. They still think war happens where they can see it. Human technology did not attack ships. It attacked space itself. Invisible zones spread across the battlefield. Areas where distance lied, where direction broke, where movement became meaningless. Alien ships that entered those zones were not destroyed. They were lost, trapped in folded space, drifting forever without time or direction. Back in the Galactic Council chamber, the feed showed the invading fleet shrinking, slowly, silently. Counselors began to whisper prayers in languages long forgotten. A senior council member turned to the human ambassador. "End this," it begged. "You've made your point." The ambassador shook her head. "They haven't learned yet." On the battlefield, the alien commanders changed strategy again. "If we cannot fight them," one said, "we will strike their home." A new fleet split off, jumping toward Earth at maximum speed. The moment they jumped, something went wrong. They did not arrive. They reappeared right where they started. Confused, they tried again. Same result. Human relic ships had locked space routes themselves. Ancient human systems had rewritten the rules of travel in the entire region. Humanity had not built walls. They had built traps. Panic turned into fear. Fear turned into desperation. The feared species sent its first message to humanity. Not a threat. A question. "What are you?" The human reply came instantly. "Survivors." The alien commanders realized the truth too late. These ships were not built during peace. They were not built during dominance. They were built when humanity believed it might lose everything, when extinction was a real future. And humans had prepared for that future with terrifying focus. One alien captain stared at the relic ships on his screen. "They don't fight like conquerors," he whispered. "They fight like something that refuses to die." Inside the council chamber, the human ambassador finally stood. "This is the last warning," she said. "Withdraw all forces. Accept monitoring, or we continue." The council transmitted the message. The invading fleet hesitated again. Then one commander, young, proud, foolish, gave the order to fire everything. Every weapon. Every ship. The relic fleet responded at last. Not with destruction. With removal. Entire sections of the battlefield vanished. Not exploded. Not shattered. Erased. The stars behind them became visible, as if the ships had never existed. The galaxy watched in horror. The feared species finally broke. A full surrender signal was broadcast on every channel. The relic ship stopped. Immediately, the silence returned. On Earth, museum doors closed again. On human ships, systems powered down. The humans had proven their point. But the galaxy understood something far more important. Humanity was not dangerous because of its strength. Humanity was dangerous because it remembered how close it had come to ending, and it would never allow that future again. The war was over, but no one felt safe. Across the galaxy, ships stayed docked, borders closed, fleets powered down. Even the most aggressive species avoided human space by light years. Fear had changed shape. It was no longer loud or violent. It was quiet. In the Galactic Council chamber, an emergency session was called, not to punish humanity, not to threaten them, to understand them. The human ambassador stood alone again, calm, tired. A council elder spoke, its voice shaking. Those ships, the relics, when were they built? The ambassador took a breath. During our extinction wars, she said. The room went still. Humans had never spoken openly about that time. Our species faced collapse, she continued. Not from aliens. From ourselves. Resource wars. Total destruction. No rules. The council listened, frozen. We believed there would be no future, the ambassador said. So, we built ships for the end of everything. Images appeared on the council screens. Human cities burning. Skies dark with smoke. Oceans boiling. Populations fleeing. These ships were not designed to win, she said. They were designed to ensure survival at any cost. A council member whispered, that is why they do not destroy, they erase. Yes, the ambassador replied. Destruction leaves anger. Erasure leaves silence. The council shuddered. On Earth, deep below an old museum, a sealed chamber remained closed. Inside it lay ships even older than the relic fleet. They had never been shown. They had never been named. A human historian stood before the sealed door. Do we tell them? A younger officer asked. Not yet, the historian replied. The galaxy isn't ready. Back in space, the surrendered alien fleet drifted, powerless. Human monitoring ships surrounded them, silent and unmoving. The feared species leaders were brought before the council. They expected execution. It did not come. Instead, the human ambassador spoke again. You ruled through fear, she said. We ruled ourselves through restraint. The alien leader lifted its head. You could have ended us, it said. Why didn't you? The ambassador's voice softened. Because we already lived in a universe without mercy, she said. We did not survive it to recreate it. The alien did not understand, but it felt something new. Shame. The council demanded one final truth. Why place such weapons in museums? An elder asked. Why not destroy them? The human ambassador paused. Because forgetting is dangerous, she said, and remembering must be controlled. The relic ships were not monuments to victory. They were warnings. Warnings to humans. Warnings to the future. Far across human space, a child walked through a museum hall, staring up at a massive, dark ship. Did this one fight aliens? The child asked. A guide shook her head. No, she said. It stopped humans from becoming monsters. That answer echoed across the galaxy. Records were rewritten. Humanity was reclassified, not as a military power, not as a threat, but as a containment species. A species that chose limits, that frightened the galaxy more than any fleet. In secret council channels, the elder spoke quietly. If humans ever stopped choosing restraint, one whispered, another finished the thought. There will be no war, only absence. Far from the council, a single relic ship powered down completely. Its systems went dark. Its crew stood in silence. The captain spoke softly. Lock it all away again. Yes, sir. The ship returned to its resting place. The museum doors closed. The galaxy exhaled. But deep in human space, something else remained sealed. Not a weapon. A promise. That if the universe ever forced humanity to remember its darkest days again, the relics would not be enough. The galaxy believed the danger had passed. That belief was wrong. Weeks after surrender, trade slowly resumed. Borders reopened. Fleets returned to patrol routes. The council told everyone the same thing. Humanity had shown restraint. The relics were locked away again. But the humans themselves were not calm. Deep within Earth's oldest defense archive, far below oceans and cities, a meeting was taking place. No cameras, no records, only humans. A long table stood in a dark room. Around it sat generals, historians, engineers, and survivors, people whose families had lived through the extinction wars. A single symbol glowed on the wall. Not a flag, a warning mark. The galaxy thinks the relic fleet was our worst weapon, one general said. It wasn't, replied an old woman at the end of the table. She was not a soldier. She was a designer. She had helped build the first ships. The relics were compromised, she continued. They were built when we still hoped rules mattered. Silence filled the room. A younger officer swallowed. Then why do we show them at all? Because fear needs a ceiling, the woman answered. Without one, it grows wild. A screen activated. What appeared on it made even hardened soldiers tense. Ships, but not like the relics. These ships were smooth, dark, featureless, no weapons visible, no engines, no size, because space bent around them. These were never placed in museums, the woman said. They were never named, never activated. Someone whispered, "Why build them?" The woman's voice dropped, in case restraint failed. Far away, the Galactic Council was holding another quiet session. Reports had arrived. Unexplained sensor gaps near human space. Missing probes. Entire data streams ending mid-sentence. The Council elders felt it before they understood it. Human space had depth, layers they had never seen. A Council scout ship crossed the edge of a restricted human sector by mistake. Its crew realized the error immediately and turned back. They never returned. No wreckage. No distress call. Nothing. When the Council demanded answers, the human ambassador arrived again. Alone. Her face showed something new. Concern. "You promised restraint," an elder said carefully. "We promise control," the ambassador replied. "Not transparency." The Council stiffened. "What happened to our ship?" another demanded. The ambassador paused. "Your ship encountered a zone that does not permit observation," she said. "That is unacceptable," the elder snapped. "No," the ambassador replied calmly. "It is necessary." She looked around the chamber. "You have now seen what happens when humans are mocked," she said. "You have seen what happens when we are threatened." Her voice hardened. "You have not seen what happens when we are studied without consent." The Council realized something too late. Humanity had not revealed power. It had revealed permission. Back on Earth, the sealed chamber opened for the first time in centuries. Not for war, for inspection. One of the nameless ships powered on briefly, just long enough to test reality. Across the galaxy, stars flickered. Navigation systems glitched. Ancient maps became wrong. Astrophysicists panicked. Space itself had shifted by a fraction. Only humans noticed the scale. The test ended. The ship powered down. The chamber sealed again. The woman at the table closed her eyes. "Good," she said. "It still listens." A general asked a question everyone feared. "What if the galaxy forces us to use them?" The woman answered without hesitation. "Then there will be no councils," she said. "No borders. No invaders." "What will remain?" the general asked. She stood slowly. "Only what humanity allows." Far above Earth, the museum stayed quiet. Tourists walked past silent relic ships, unaware that those were not the darkest memories of human war. They were the gentlest ones. And somewhere in the deep, unmapped layers of space, something waited. Not angry, not eager, just patient, because humanity had learned one final lesson during its extinction wars. If survival ever demands it, existence itself can be negotiated. The galaxy told itself a lie. It said humanity was dangerous only when provoked. It said restraint could be trusted. It said humans would always choose control. That lie spread quickly. And lies like fear make people act foolishly. In secret, far from the Galactic Council chambers, a coalition formed. Not warriors, not conquerors, observers. Scientists, strategists, silent watchers who believed knowledge was safety. If we understand human limits, one of them said, we will never need to fear them. So they planned the unthinkable. They would observe the sealed zones. Not attack, not threaten. Just look. A fleet of unmanned probes, advanced, stealth-coded, legally deniable, slipped toward the deepest layers of restricted human space. No weapons, only sensors. They crossed the first boundary. Nothing happened. Confidence grew. They crossed the second. Still nothing. The observers relaxed. Then the probes reached the third layer, and space refused them. One by one, the probes slowed. Their clocks drifted. Their signals returned before they were sent. Reality bent, not violently, but firmly. Human systems awakened. Deep beneath Earth, alarms sounded in a chamber no map recorded. The old woman, the designer, opened her eyes. They crossed, she said. A general stood. How deep? Deep enough to touch the promise, she replied. The room fell silent. Humanity's greatest rule had been broken, not by attack, by curiosity. Across human space, dormant systems stirred. Not fleets, not weapons, boundaries. The nameless ships did not activate. They listened. In the Galactic Council, panic erupted as data streams collapsed. Navigation charts failed. Long, stable trade routes warped by fractions that made them unusable. The Council demanded answers. The human ambassador arrived within minutes. Her face was hard now. You were warned, she said. We were observing. An elder replied. Observation is not aggression. The ambassador's voice cut through the chamber. Observation without consent is invasion, she said. A counselor panicked. What are you doing to space? Nothing, the ambassador replied. We are allowing to respond. In the sealed chamber on Earth, the designer watched the displays. The boundary is correcting, she said. Outside human space, stars shifted slightly. Not enough to be seen by the eye. Enough to ruin everything. Hyperlanes collapsed. Jump points misaligned. Entire regions became unreachable overnight. No explosions. No warnings. Just absence. The observing coalition screamed through emergency channels. They demanded reversal. They begged. They threatened sanctions that no longer mattered. The human response was short. Withdraw all probes. Accept limits. Some probes tried to flee. They never reached the boundary again. Not destroyed. Contained. Frozen between moments. The galaxy finally understood. Human restraint was not weakness. It was a door, and the galaxy had pushed too hard. In the council chamber, an elder whispered the truth. They are not defending territory, it said. They are defending reality. The human ambassador nodded once. For us, she said, existence is not sacred. Survival is. That sentence spread like fire across a terrified galaxy. Back on Earth, the designer closed the chamber controls. The boundary will hold, she said. But now they know it exists. A general asked a question no one wanted answered. What if they try again? The woman looked tired. Then the next correction will be larger. How large? He asked. She met his eyes. Large enough that maps will become history books. The nameless ships powered down again. They had not moved. They had not fired. Yet the galaxy had changed forever. Trade empires collapsed. Borders meant nothing. Power blocks dissolved overnight. Human space remained perfectly stable. Perfectly untouched. The galaxy learned a final lesson too late. Humanity did not rule through fear. Did not rule through strength. Humanity ruled through limits. And once those limits were crossed, there was no war. There was no victory. There was only correction. The galaxy did not end. That surprised everyone. After the correction, many believed reality itself would continue to bend until nothing familiar remained. World prepared for collapse. Species prayed to old gods and new ones. But nothing else changed. The stars held their places. Time moved forward. Space stayed quiet. Humanity stopped. That was the most terrifying part. In the Galactic Council chamber, the remaining elders gathered for the smallest meeting in its history. Half the seats were empty. Not from death. From distance. So many regions were now unreachable that entire civilizations had fallen silent overnight. The Council no longer ruled a galaxy. It barely understood what was left. When the human ambassador arrived, no one laughed. No one argued. No one demanded. They waited. She stood before them, calm as always. "The correction is complete," she said. "No further action is planned." An elder found the courage to speak. "You could have erased us," it said. "Why didn't you?" The ambassador did not answer immediately. "Because erasure teaches nothing," she said finally. "Limits do." Another counselor whispered, "You change the shape of space." "Yes," she replied. "Enough to protect ourselves." "Will you change it back?" the elder asked. The ambassador shook her head. "No," she said. "Because the galaxy crossed a boundary it pretended not to see." Silence followed. "What happens now?" someone asked. The ambassador looked around the chamber. "Now," she said, "you adapt." On Earth, the sealed chamber was closing for the final time. The designer stood alone inside, looking at the nameless ships one last time. Their surfaces reflected nothing. They had never truly existed in normal space. She placed her hand on the control panel. "Stand down," she said quietly. The systems obeyed. Across human space, the boundary stabilized. Not weapons, not traps, rules. Human scientists confirmed it within days. The corrections were permanent. The galaxy would never move the same way again. Humanity had not claimed territory. It had claimed context. Travel routes now curved around human regions naturally, like rivers avoiding stone. Trade reorganized. New alliances formed far from old centers of power. Slowly, carefully, the galaxy rebuilt itself. This time, without touching what it did not understand. In museums on Earth, children still walked beneath the relic warships. Guides still told stories of ancient wars, of fear and survival. But the plaques were changed. No longer did they list battles or victories. They listed choices. This ship was never used. This system was locked away. This weapon was refused. A child asked a guide, "Why keep ships that can't fly anymore?" The guide smiled softly. "They can fly," she said. "We choose not to let them." That idea spread. Other species began building museums of their own, not to celebrate conquest, to remember restraint. Years passed, then decades. Humanity did not expand, did not conquer, did not lead councils or empires. It remained exactly where it was, watching, learning, choosing. The galaxy slowly understood the final truth. Humans were not the strongest species. They were not the most advanced. They were the ones who had stared into extinction and decided survival was not worth everything. In the Council's final record, a single line was added to humanity's classification. Status, boundary species. Note, do not test limits. Reason, they will not stop you. They will stop the rules that allow you to try. Far beneath Earth, the sealed chambers slept. The nameless ships dreamed nothing. And the universe moved forward, carefully, within the space humanity allowed it to have.